Douglas, hit it off. Let's finish this strong with the mental health minute, please, sir.
Yes, sir. This is something that a viewer had suggested a few shows back, and it's one of those things where I felt really smart because as soon as I read about it, it made sense, but I didn't think of it. It's compassion fatigue. It's a fairly newly discovered and investigated phenomenon. The best way I've been able to characterize it is basically PTSD by proxy. So you're helping somebody else through trauma, and you end up with the stress from the repeated exposure to victim trauma. And it's common in the professions that you'd expect. Although I was surprised to see student affairs professionals on there, non-professionals, people who have had a relative go through a debilitary illness over a long period of time. The symptoms are really similar to PTSD, but specifically notable is an inability to feel compassion, and then anger, annoyance, skepticism, reduction in social contact, negative coping, alcohol and self-medication, domestic violence are all common. And it just kind of goes to show that, spending all of your energy on caring for others depletes the amount you have left to care for yourself. I suspect many of us might have been through that at one time or another.
Yeah. So, thanks, Doug. I think this is important. Wow. Shared symptoms with PTSD, inability to feel compassion. I think you see that a lot in general, anytime you're dealing with people on a regular basis, and whether that's in the military or law enforcement. Think of the military. If you're in any kind of leadership role, you're constantly dealing with other people's problems. And I think after a while, you start to just, okay, whatever, get out of my face, stop whining, just do it or whatever. And you kind of forget that these people, for them, it is immediate. For you, it's just one more problem. And when you kind of let yourself become numb to it, you're at risk of missing indicators and signs that may be something more serious, because that person may be coming to you. It may not be anything related to what they're coming to you about. That might just be a symptom. That might just be, just the thing that set the cascade, set the thing in motion, the first domino to fall, and they're falling apart. And you missed an opportunity to intervene and stop that permanent action to a temporary problem. So I think it's a great thing to talk about because, and it works for ourselves too, because if we're constantly finding ourselves in situations where, we're very non-sociopaths are typically very empathetic people, in general, I think good people like to help others. And so, but if you do that a lot, sometimes your own battery drains. And if your own battery drains, you're actually worse than if you didn't try to help them at all, because then you tell people, toughen up, you're too soft, you label them. And then next thing you know, things have gotten really bad. So whether it's in leadership, whether it's in a situation where your job is helping others, or whether it's just being a good friend, sometimes you have to take a step back and have a little self-awareness and go, I am not in a position to help others until I work this out, until I make a change in my own life. And then I can recharge and go back, because I think one of the worst things that can happen to a person is if they reach out for help and it's that last grasp, it's that last try to fix their situation, and they come up short because you're not there to help them, or that other person's not there to help them. So a little bit of self-awareness goes a long way, and recognizing your own signs and symptoms of, hey, I'm getting burnt out. I need to take a step back. I'm not in a position to help other people. Because if you don't, then you're going to be in the same situation too, because you got compassion fatigue. Gonky.
Yeah. You hit a lot of the high points. I would say, it's like when you get on an airplane, like put on your mask before you help others. All right. So you have to take care of yourself as well, because, this new position I'm in now, I hear a lot of problems that people are going through. And, it does, you just think about these things. You can't not think about these things, if you're somewhat of a normal person. So Yeah, in order to help other people, you gotta take care of yourself. And the ways you combat that is, you make sure, rest, eat, exercise, and you're talking to people, right? So if things are weighing on your mind, you got to talk to people, and don't let it build up inside. You got to unpack it and figure it out, because you the people that are coming to you for help, you don't want to sell them short. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that going into one that I came out of Afghanistan with the, what would you call it? The fatigue. Then on fallen angel missions where we would, actually getting launched with the medevac to go pick up a soldier that was injured in combat. And then you find out when you get there that they'd passed when you're on the way there. And then I felt myself, damn it, if we could have just gotten there faster, we could have just bent the aircraft getting there. Maybe we could have helped them. Maybe that extra 1 minute, 5 minutes, whatever it took, maybe would have been the difference, to helping that person. But dealt with that a lot. And like I said, writing my book and talking to people afterwards, coming back, that's when they kind of, people once again took the blinders off me and said, like, look, you can't be Superman. You can't be there. You can't save everybody. There's some people that are, it was what it was. They died for whatever reason and all. And from that, I ended up, like I said, everybody that I met, talked to, or whatever, I absolutely shook their hand, told them to be safe with, pure passion. Please, I don't want to, go to your funeral. If anything ever bothers you or anything like that, let me know. And that's the same thing now with this EMS job is, going on a mission. They don't tell us the person that we are going to pick up, especially if it's a child. They just tell us the location and the radio frequency that we're going to. Now, the paramedic and the EMS, the EMT, the nurse, they end up getting the actual patient information, but they can pretty much tell, and pretty much they'll tell me also, because on the way there, I'll say, okay, how much does this person weigh? So I know how much gas, how much weight I can play with going into this place. And if they put that person's weight, pretty much below 100 pounds, it's pretty much, it's going to be a kid. And then, or if they say, yeah, plan on when we get back here with the patient, plan on it being plan on going to Texas Children's Hospital. And also then now I know, okay, yeah, the weather's looking pretty bad going that way, but now that I know it's a kid, yeah, I'll push the weather a little bit more and all. And finally, and this is after now, 3 years I've been doing this, it's to the point now where it's like, okay, we're not doing anybody any good if I end up wrecking, trying to save this person and all. So I'm not saying I don't care anymore, but there's just some people you can't save and all. So you gotta deal with it and all. So
yeah, no, that's all good. And remember, 988, good military one source, your director of psychological health, Gonky, in your wing that you need to go talk to. Yeah, there's resources. Don't bottle it up. Especially, if you're somebody that feels that you're strong and you're always the one that people go to for help, you can still use some of these resources to keep unload some of that baggage so that you're able to help others. Don't just bottle it up, because, it's like Daniel, like you're talking about, sometimes you get in this situation where you kind of take that weight on yourself and you have to realize you can't. And they talk about this in law enforcement too. We call it running code. When your lights and sirens to a call, you do them no good if you create an accident and don't ever make it. So, you have to balance helping people with survival. But Doug, what do you think, man? Did we hit all the highlights? You got anything else to add for closing thoughts on that?
I wanted to highlight something that came out and what Daniel said and what you just said too. When I lecture on suicide, one of the things that I talk about is, you have to secure your own safety if you're going to help somebody. And taking yourself out of the area of threat sometimes is the first step, whether that's, literally or psychologically.
John says, I completely agree. Desensitization is natural. Sometimes blocks a necessary empathetic approach to viewing others' issues. Yeah, and I think it creates a bias too, especially like in law enforcement or what I'm doing now currently. If you lose the empathy, you lose a little bit, number one, of your humanity, but number two, of your objective thinking, because now everything is a scam. Everything is, oh, well, they're just trying to work the system, or, oh, they're, and you lose that objectivity when that happens. Appropriate comment. Have a lot of friends outside of your profession, balance your life, and get a dog.
Yeah.
And they will tell you when to go to bed. Laura says, some people will take advantage of your empathy, weaponize it, and you have to be aware and protect yourself against that. And I've just found out this week, some people will take advantage of your charity. They'll take advantage of your work ethic and take you for granted. And it is incredibly frustrating when you feel like you've given quite a bit and you don't get that return. So sometimes it's good to just step back and allow yourself to recharge. Don't internalize it. Don't take it personally. Just move on with your day.